What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm your host, John Walker, and this week, a lot of exciting things happened in Northwest sports. To kick things off, Northwest football played their second to last home game of the season against Northeastern State, and we saw a little bit of a glimpse of that 2016 national championship team again. The Cats put up a whopping 79 points and kept the Riverhawks scoreless, and as always, we were there to catch the highlights. All right, guys, there are those sweet military appreciation uniforms for the Cats, and they got off to a pretty hot start, if I do say so myself. One of the first plays from scrimmage, and Marcus Andrews trucks a defender right there and finds himself in the end zone. Rumble, young man, rumble. And then, of course, much like the rest of the season, the Northwest defense able to get to the quarterback and get a sack right there. Normally only a couple of defensive highlights, but this one coming up big. See Northeastern State right there, scramble a little bit and fumbles the ball. Senior lineman Mike Elke takes it all the way back, 19 yards for the scoop and score fumble. Wait a second for it. He's not done yet. Big man spike right there on the touchdown for the Cats. There you go. Braden Wright hands off to senior running back Justin Rankin. And Rankin is the first Northwest rusher to rush for over 200 yards since 2011. This was pretty telling of how the day went. Isaiah Strayhorn gets into the end zone from that far away. And just like the rest of the contest, the Cats ran away with it. The football team will start their last two games on the road in Hays, Kansas, where they will take on the Fort Hays State Tigers. As the season comes to an end, seniors are on their way out the door, and our reporter Dylan Johnson caught up with senior transfer Justin Rankin on his seamless transition with a new team. Dylan.
In 3 words, describe yourself.
Whew, 3 words?
Yeah.
Man, I can do 2, hard-working. Hard-working.
Handoff, Rankin again, right side, has some room. He's in the numbers to the 30, to the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Northwest.
Senior running back Justin Rankin chose to hang up his wings and pick up a paw in search of something better.
You know, I was nervous. Obviously, it's meeting a whole new team. I was, with my last team for 3 years, so I was a little nervous of how, they would look at me or how they would accept me.
During his 3 years at Kent State, Rankin totaled 14 touchdowns and tallied more than 1,500 rushing yards. The transition to a new system was not easy, according to Rankin, but with the leadership of his teammate, Isaiah Strayhorn, the switch was not as difficult.
He really just, showed me the ropes, helped me get through the workouts, stuff like that. Helped me with the, the change from, obviously my offense to this offense. So it was nice,
Rankin has been at Northwest for less than a year. And if he could, Rankin would like to wear Bearcats across his chest a little bit longer.
Yeah, low key. I enjoyed it here, the family aspect, the winning culture, everything about it really.
Rankin is in the 4th quarter of his college career, and how others will remember him is very important.
Man, just a good person, overall on and off the field, not just football, but just an overall good person.
In his only season as a Bearcat, Rankin has scored 12 touchdowns and ran for 810 yards. His goal is to rush for 1,000 yards before the season ends. Reporting for Bearcat Update, I'm Dylan Johnson.
Thanks, Dylan. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around. We've got more Northwest sports coming up. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT, Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. This week, we're back with Walk the Line as our reporter Nolan Brooks sat down with senior women's basketball player Kendi Eaton. Nolan.
Thanks, John. Welcome back to Bearcat Update, and on this week's episode of Walk the Line, we're actually going to be sitting. I'm Nolan Brooks, and I'm joined by Kendi Eaton, guard on the women's basketball team. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, Kendi, I want to kind of turn back the clock for you here. You started your first 2 years of your collegiate career at NCMC.
Yep.
And you averaged 18 points per game, and you led that team. What was something that you maybe took from that, or the biggest ideas you got from that team while you were there?
I just think that growing as like an individual was a big thing for me. Coming out of high school, I was really small and stuff like that. So I think getting in the weight room, getting bigger, developing my skills a little bit, getting that college atmosphere as that team, it really helped and helped me to get to where I'm at here.
And then your junior year, you transfer here to Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
and you immediately lead the team in scoring here as well. How did Coach Meyer kind of incorporate you into the system and get you acclimated to D2 level versus what you would see at NCMC?
I think it's just a lot of just hard work in the gym, and a lot of just experiencing games as well. Kind of coming into that first game, I was watching on the sidelines because we were kind of at like a classic thing, so there was a game going on before. And I was kind of watching, I was like, these girls are really fast. It was like different than what I was used to, and as soon as I got into the game, I kind of adjusted, kind of found out what not to do, what I could do, stuff like that. So I think just experiencing the game and just working on how I could use different moves to get around defenders instead of blow by speed, because I'm not exactly the fastest person.
Okay.
So learning that, I guess.
So little things that helped you get better at the game. So were there any major differences from maybe the coaching level or like team aspect between here and NCMC?
Not a whole lot. Like, I loved my coaches at NCMC. They're like some of the best coaches that I've played for, like mom figures for me, basically. So I guess that was a little bit of a difference. I had 2 women coaches, and then I come to Northwest, have 2 men coaches. So a little bit different there. Other than that, though, I've enjoyed my experiences a lot at NCMC. I wouldn't take it back for anything. My journey here has been awesome. So
now you're going into your senior year, and Austin Meyer likes his senior leadership a lot. What has he told you as far as stepping into that role? What does he need from you for this year?
I think we all know, the coaching staff knows that I'm more of like a lead by example kind of person. I'm not like the most vocal with people, vocal with just sharing stuff like that. So they kind of told me to define like what a leadership role is for yourself, and kind of let me kind of choose that. And of course they push me to, hey, maybe you should speak up about this or that. And so they're kind of pushing me in that direction. But they're just kind of let me kind of lead how I lead, and get in the gym and work hard. And that's kind of just my MO there.
Okay. Now, one last thing I want to talk to you about, your free throw shooting. I mean, you've made it an art, and you shoot 90% or something like that for your career. Does that take a lot of training, or is that just, did it come naturally to you that you shot that well from the free throw line?
I think it's just practice. Like, I remember in high school I really struggled. I think I shot like 60% one year from the free throw line, which is something else. But I think when I got to college, that you put up so many shots, and you're just constantly working on your form, your shots, putting in so much more work and stuff like that, and people that are willing to help you do that. So I just, kind of just a lot of practice, repetition, and confidence, I guess.
Gotcha. Well, thanks so much for joining me. That's all the time we have here on Walk the Line, and we'll send it back to you, John.
Thanks, Nolan. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around. We've got more Northwest sports coming up as you're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. The women's basketball team was in action last Tuesday as they played their first game of the season against UMKC. While they may have come away with a 69-58 loss, they still saw some great work out of the team. Senior Kendi Eaton scored 27 points on the night, with Jalen Haggard and Mia Stillman both putting up 9 points respectively. The Cats will see their next game on Friday when they take on Wayne State. Also starting their season this week was the men's basketball team. They played 2 games and started the season off right with a pair of wins. On Friday, the men took on Damon College and got a nice win, 85-65. Trevor Hudgens and Ryan Hawkins both dropped 24 points on the Wildcats. On Saturday, the Cats took on Southern Nazarene, the number 9 team in the country, and walked away with 100 points to the Thundercats' 88. Ryan Hawkins came away big, setting the new all-time individual scoring mark for Northwest with 44 points. Hawkins was followed by 4 other teammates who scored double figures as well during the contest. Our reporter Nolan Brooks caught up with head coach Ben McCollum on what he expects to see from the team this year. Nolan.
A new season of Bearcat men's basketball is here. After a 38-0 national champion season, 4 out of the 5 starters have returned to the lineup. I caught up with head coach Ben McCollum to find out what his game plan is for the new season.
Yeah, I mean, every season's completely different just in the success that we've had. You need to make sure that you can get kids to be hungry and understand what makes them good, and sometimes that can be really difficult, especially when you've had so much success, to kind of go back and say, okay, what made us really good? We need to do that a lot and continue to get better and better at it. Hopefully my kids understand that.
And as the first home game inches closer, McCollum and his team have one goal in mind that will be the center of the program for yet another year.
Just to get better every day. I mean, there's not a lot of, obviously you want to win as much as you can win, and I think that's the obvious thing, but for us, we really try to focus on getting a little bit better every day, and if you get better every day, the results will take care of themselves.
With a perfect season behind them and a few new faces on the team, the goals remain the same for the Bearcats: win games and get better. For Bearcat Update, I'm Nolan Brooks.
Thanks again, Nolan. The volleyball team played 2 games last weekend and unfortunately didn't quite see the results they had hoped for, but still finished off the weekend with a win. On Friday, the Cats took on number 2 ranked Nebraska Kearney, and while they may have managed to walk away with 1 set, the Cats couldn't hold on and dropped the game in 4 sets. Luckily, the team was able to get some momentum back and come up with a 5-set, 3-2 victory against Fort Hays State on Saturday. As their season comes to a close, Northwest has clinched a spot in the 2019 MIAA tournament set for November 21st through the 23rd at Hy-Vee Arena in Kansas City. We can't wait to see how the team performs in the tournament, but until then, they still have a few games left, with their next one being Friday as they head to take on Newman in Kansas. The women's soccer team saw some improvement last weekend, and the girls got a hard-fought win against Missouri Western on Friday, winning 4-3. Kaylee Rock showed us how it's done on Friday, scoring 2 goals for herself against the Griffins, and Bree Wawiorka and Izzy Romano also putting points on the board for the Cats. On Sunday, the Cats took on Missouri Southern and got a win against the Lions. With that win, the women secured a spot in the MIAA tournament for the first time since 2012. The women's team will be back in action Friday as they take on their first-round opponent, who is still not decided. Before we close out this week's episode of Bearcat Update, I have my top pick of the week. And my pick of the week this week is the Northwest football team. The 79 points that they put up that we mentioned a little bit earlier in the show was good enough for the second most points that the Bearcats have ever put up in program history. Along with that, they set a new program record for the largest margin of victory with that 79 points. They'll get a chance to add to their playoff resume, much needed this weekend, if Rich Wright can find his first career win against the Fort Hays State Tigers. He said it'll be a fist fight this weekend on the road, so the Cats will be looking to get a knockout. And for that reason and many more, the Northwest football team is my pick of the week. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Bearcat Update. You can follow us on Twitter at BearcatUpdate_8 or watch all of our previous episodes on YouTube at KNWT8. Thanks for watching and have a great night. How you doing, guys? Hope you're enjoying your weekend, but if you're not, something that'll cheer you up is watching last week's episode of Bearcat Update up here and all of our previous episodes down here. Check them out.